I right now have the pleasure of introducing someone that you are going to absolutely love. This young lady has just turned 18. She has yet to cast her first ballot in an election. Yet she's been politically active at least from the age of 14, of which I'm aware, and probably earlier than that. She is the president of an amazing organization called Im2moro. They write that capital I, capital M, the number 2, and M-O-R-O, Im2moro. She has some of her cards back there on, I think it's on the third blue table. You might want to get a hold of that, look up their website, look at some of the wonderful clips that are there to get an idea of what they do. But Audrea Taylor, president of Im2moro.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak to you all today. We plan to be here to stand up and speak out against a bill that threatens the sanctity of citizenship in our state and in our nation. And unfortunately, as you know, Governor Brown signed that bill into law on Tuesday. But it's still necessary for us, we the people, to take time off from our busy schedules, our work, and our school, to travel sometimes great distances to voice our outrage, to stand up for the values and principles that enable the freedoms and liberties we enjoy in this country. Because today we stand with the millions of Americans who have come to this country and this beautiful state from all corners of the world. They came pursuing their dreams of owning their own business or giving their children opportunities they never had. Many even braved very difficult circumstances to get here. But their journey became complete when they were sworn in as United States citizens. A few months ago, I had the opportunity to speak to about 2,000 new American citizens in San Diego's Golden Hall at the naturalization ceremony. It was a moving experience to hear people from all corners of the world stand up and recite the naturalization oath of allegiance to the United States of America. I'm sure you've heard this oath as they absolutely and entirely renounce all allegiance to any foreign government and their promise to support and defend the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America against all enemies. These are powerful words of allegiance. Those who take this oath should be the ones working our polls on Election Day. People who painstakingly went through the legal process to become citizens. People who have declared their allegiance to this nation, Americans, real, authentic Americans. Governor Brown passed a law that allowed non-citizens to stand in the doorways of our polling places when these new Americans come to cast their first vote as citizens. We, the people, must continue to stand up for these American citizens of today and for the American citizens of tomorrow. I have the privilege of being the co-founder and president of Im2moro. Our mission is to engage our generation, to stand up and speak out, to promote and protect the constitutional principles that made our nation great. We believe that the millennial generation will lead in this new movement of freedom and liberty. As Ruth said, you can check out our table for more information. I often get asked the question, how can we reach the next generation to get them involved in what's happening in our country? If my generation had a theme summed up in a single word, it would be authentic. With us, you can be just about anything you want as long as you're real and authentic, true to yourself and true to others. And we can tell when someone isn't sincere or is doing something for the wrong motives. The good news? My generation, the next generation, sees right through Governor Brown's decision. We know that this was a bad bill veiled in a feel-good package. We all know that this is just politics, a play to try to endear non-citizens to them, a political ploy to keep themselves in office. not to make California better or to preserve and uphold what's best for this state and for our nation. Laws like these are jeopardizing the entire voting relationship with the millennial generation because they violate our trust. It doesn't take a political scientist or a constitutional lawyer to recognize that allowing non-citizens to man the polls during important elections is simply a politically motivated bad idea for California. You see, my generation, as much as any before us, cares about our community, our neighbors, and our cities. We have a desire to give back. We have a desire to volunteer, to help those around us. We recognize the value of personal responsibility and self-governance, and we authentically live it out in our own lives. We're the most diverse generation in our history. Statistics say that millennials are more financially responsible than our parents. Only 19% of us think that government spending is the way to improve the economy. And now, more than ever, millennials want to make a difference in our world. So you see, there is hope for our nation. The hope lies with the next generation because millennials demand authentic leaders. We will hold them accountable. We will call them out on their voting records because we don't care who you know or how you got here or who you owe favors to. We only care about whether you vote for the good of the people or for your own political gain. Governor Brown looked at this bill and he made a decision. He showed us who he is by his actions on this bill. Our generation holds the sanctity of citizenship of something of great value, and we realize that millions around the world would trade places in a heartbeat to be a citizen of the greatest nation the world has ever known. However, right now, in universities across America, our generation is being lied to by public government education, lied to by the media, lied to by politicians, some right here in Sacramento, that lack the character to do what's best for our state and for our nation. So how do we equip the next generation with the most powerful weapon? We give them truth. You see, my generation speaks a different language. Through social media, blogs, and YouTube, we have the unique opportunity to communicate and educate our peers with the truth. I believe the revolution will start with the next generation, just as it did at the founding of our nation. Thomas Jefferson was only 27 when he wrote the Declaration of Independence. My generation has the courage to confront any who stand in the way of liberty. We are fearless in effecting change. It's starting on college campuses right now, all across America. And we have the courage, when we know the truth, to revolutionize our country back to its founding principles. But we can't do this alone. We need financial backing from other generations and the educational resources from organizations like Election Integrity to help us execute on our plan. We need you to help us let our voices be heard. Using the internet and our smartphones, we can reach our friends, our community, our nation, and our world. We are limited only to the extent that we allow the enemies of freedom and liberty to hinder us. Now is the time to stand up and speak out for the good of our state, for the good of our nation. We are the generation that is willing to risk our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor for truth and for our country. Thanks, guys.